Hello, everyone. So it's been a strange month already. Um, this is a psychic reading for the month of August. I am doing this outside. I'm gonna see how this goes. Hopefully, it works out. So for August, this month seems like a very strange, chaotic month on some level. What I was seeing, again, I see things somewhat symbolic in nature. They can be literal as well as symbolic. But what I was seeing was kind of like it was like the world was shaking. It was almost like an earthquake, and it's hard to know if that's literally an earthquake or if it's more just the energy that's like of disruption, of change. And it was like the ocean was kind of splashing around, and it was like the water was going up as if there could be some flooding or something like that. But at the same time, people playing on the beach, kind of oblivious to what's going on. So I think there is some sense of massive changes going on, if not physically, then on an energetic level within people's lives that may kind of sneak up on them out of nowhere, unexpectedly, for the month of August 2021. What I was seeing was castle walls that were kind of like erupting out of the ground and going up. It was like they were growing kind of out of nowhere. And what I got the sense of was that it was like this kind of hard metal, at least that's the energy, the feel of it, and that it was kind of defensive. Not so much offensive, but like defensive, but in an unfriendly kind of way, like putting up castle walls. And the sense of it being exclusive and somewhat elitist. And when I tuned into more about what this is, what I saw was an image of dinosaurs. And this could be more like energy beings than literal. But what I was seeing was dinosaur energies attacking people, throwing them out of their way, like to get them to move out of the way so they can build these castle walls. And like kind of throwing, I saw like a raptor type being with its tail, just like throwing someone out of their castle to make way for their new protection, the new castle walls. And when I asked more about like what this represents, what I got was that represents corruption and greed, along with the survival um, of powerful influences within our culture to survive, and also a lack of compassion and just a general inhumane kind of vibe, or protecting the things that are necessarily thought of as the public expression of humanity. Another image I saw, call it a vision if you want, is a person fishing in the ocean, and it was like they're fishing, like somebody is looking for information, and instead of catching a fish, a crocodile jumps out at them and eats them and pulls them underwater. So it's kind of like the secrets or the things that people may be fishing for. There may be something bigger coming out in this month. So maybe be a little cautious. um, when I look for what's going on, like politically, I usually look for what's going on with Joe Biden, and what I got was I saw Joe Biden waiting. It's like he was looking at his watch, and he's waiting for something to happen that's just not happening and not working out in the way that he was hoping it would. And I was getting that these castle forces that I was seeing in the other picture, they represent part of the system. I guess you could say the government, not necessarily the government, but some sort of system that works with the government, I guess. You could call it maybe the economy. I don't know. Whatever these castle walls are that are being erected, it's something that kind of used to work with him, but now it's kind of rebelling against him in some sense. And this is due to a disruption, a change, and it's creating a disruption in the unity of cooperation with these forces, even though these are not necessarily, good forces. They're still now kind of working at odds with each other, as if it's every person for themselves. And so this has to do with higher up in control, whether that be political control or some sort of energetic control. And there being some sort of, it's kind of like top secret plans that Biden is not in on, and it's kind of like he's been discarded and almost used, is kind of the sense that I'm getting, because he wasn't in on these sudden shifts of change. I do get the sense that this isn't going to destroy Joe Biden, though. I do see him having a future, but I do see it being a major disruption for now. So what I am getting is there's some new threat to people disguised as something else, and I know that's kind of vague. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. One possibility is a potential scare over the UFO, UAP scenario that we had a couple months ago, possibly with the idea that it's being a foreign military threat, but I'm also getting that there won't be the full story. The full story won't be told. Only parts of it, and it will be used to kind of create a narrative. And this potentially could be blamed on Russia. I did see Russia come up for some reason when I was reading this. So overall, this is a pretty crazy month. I saw a vision of Jesus with like the crown of thorns, and the crown of thorns was representing that there may be a small amount of sacrifice needed in this month, but that we have to remember to look out for each other. Helping those around you to increase the positive vibe is a big deal in order to cut through this fight or flight traumatized type of energy. Like when you're kind of in the survival mode, the fight or flight instinct can kick in, and this can be a problem for this month. So it's good to to have courage to speak up and form unity to get through it. When I ask what is good for this month, last month was kind of about manifesting on some level. But this month, it's kind of like you're able, what I was seeing it as was, and someone with an egg in a basket, and they're putting this aside somewhere to grow into a tree. And the difference between last month and this month is last month it was more about coming from like a heart-based kind of energy, whereas this month it's more about pushing for your personal goals and being strategic about it, being very strategic, and kind of using your cleverness would be a wise thing to do for this month as opposed to last month. And I also saw a vision of a bird hatching from an egg and flying away, which represents the individual struggle to achieve your personal goals for this month. What I got was bad for this month was listening to politics. I don't see that being very helpful this month. Waiting on other people for other people to come through with what they have to offer to you. It's better to not wait for them to come around. And expecting promises to come through from other people, probably not worth waiting for. Not that they're not going to come through, but that you're better off, taking individual action this month. Expecting others to get on board with you is also something that you should not expect or demand or count on. So plan to fly solo, and if other people come along, then that's great, but don't depend on it or count on it or expect it. Inflexible, stubborn plans may fall through. They might not work. So being inflexible and kind of stubborn, or kind of having an idea of how things are and not having that ability to be flexible with it, is not going to necessarily be good for you this month. Governmental infrastructure systems may crumble a little bit. So again, this energy on the individual, taking care of the individual, but also within a network of people. Just the old infrastructure may not be holding its weight, so to speak. Another thing associated with that is possible fires, and indulgence may not help you out this month. It may kind of catch you with your guard down if you're indulging too much. So, just to kind of recap, this month has a lot of earth changes coming, whether that be physical or energetic. I think maybe both, probably. And this is kind of forcing change. It can be difficult, but the positive of it is that it's breaking up stagnant, lethargic kind of situations that don't want to budge, that could be, could be stunting some growth. And so these kind of violent changes, you could call them violent, but if you want to look at it in a positive way, it can also be kind of the jolt that creates a refreshing awakening, even if it may be a rude awakening on some level. So I would say it's good to stay safe this month, but also to have the courage. Sorry, it's loud. To have the courage to fight for your success. And my final advice, this was a vision when I asked for the final advice, was somebody eating food, which is kind of weird. So what I got was eat enough food, take care of yourself to have enough energy to take on the month and handle it. So take care of yourself. Don't skip eating meals or getting what you need for your for yourself, for your health, for your body to get through the month, regardless of what may be going on around you. Diamonds are created from pressure, and so all this pressure is kind of creating more awareness. Sometimes negative things happen for a positive reason. That's at least a positive way of looking at it. And I'm not trying to be so doom and gloom about this month. It's not really going to be doom and gloom. There may be some shocking, disruptive types of energies that may be difficult, but overall it's not necessarily going to be rough. It could be a lot of fun as well. So last month, just to kind of recap what happened last month. The month was from the last prediction I made for July's month reading. I said that it was going to be pretty nice and pretty awesome, and I would say that for me at least, it was a little bit more rough than I had predicted. Although it was about kind of working through these energies to kind of get what I want, and I did feel that I was kind of like a star in some sense, because the things that I asked for, mostly I actually did get, especially at work, and I did have a lot of my wishes granted. So there was that aspect of it that was definitely true. Another thing that I did say last month was that I said I saw presidents falling in the snow, and I was saying that might not necessarily be so literal, but more so the sense that there would be less attention on politicians. And I do feel that that was true, that July there was a lot less attention on politicians. But what I will say that is specifically interesting is that was also the same time that the Haiti president was assassinated. So there was actually a president assassinated in another country during that month, which was also very synchronistic with what I was saying. So I thought that was interesting and worth mentioning. So this month there should be a lot of change. That can be good, that can be bad, that can be stressful, but it can also be very rewarding. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you would like a private personal reading from me, you can check out my website, which I'll post below this video. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for next month and other readings. Have a great day.